Finn, Makool, and Oona. Long ago, in the beautiful land of Ireland, there lived a giant named Finn Makool. Finn was enormous and strong, and all day long he worked alongside his giant friend, building a bridge to Scotland. As he labored away, his wife was never far from his mind. Oona was her name, and Finn was devoted to her. They lived together at the very top of tall Knockmany Hill. It was quite a climb to get home every night, and there was never a break from the howling Irish winds. Yet there was a method to Finn's madness. The top of Knockmany Hill was a perfect lookout perch. You see, there was a certain giant in the land who was to be avoided. His name was Cuchulainn, and although Cuchulainn prided himself on being the strongest giant of them all, there was one individual he had never dared challenge, Finn Makool. Finn was well aware of this, and that's why he built his home on top of Knockmany Hill, for up there he would be able to see if Cuchulainn was coming for him. He knew that day would come. One day, Finn took a break from his work and decided to go home and see his beloved Oona. He trekked up the hill and met Oona, who gave him a loving tap on his cheek. "Ah, welcome home." "Yeah, darling, Rog." Oona smiled. "But what's bothering you? I can see it on your face." "It's Cuchulainn that's troubling me," Finn replied. "I believe he's coming for me." Finn, you see, had a special talent. When he stuck his thumb into his mouth and sucked on it, he could see the future. "Sure enough, he'll come today," Finn mumbled, his thumb in his mouth. "Piece of cake, my darling Finn," Oona winked. "I've got a plan to hatch." Finn was relieved. His beloved Oona was clever, and she had bailed him out before. Oona raced down the hill and went to all of her neighbors, asking for their iron griddles. After collecting 20 griddles, she returned home, ground them up, and made griddle cakes, some with iron and some without. This was all she needed to do. So she sat with Finn and they waited. At 2 o'clock, Finn spied Cuchulainn climbing up the hill. "All right," Oona whispered to Finn. "Put on these baby clothes and climb into the crib." Finn looked perplexed, but he trusted her. "I am looking for Finn Makool," Cuchulainn bellowed when he saw Oona. "I'm sorry, but he's not here," she replied. "He just went off to slay the giant Cuchulainn." "What? That's me you're talking about, and I'm here to slay him," he exclaimed. "Well, he's not here, but you can wait for him, and maybe you could help me with a few things that he usually does," Oona began. "On blustery days like today, he turns the house away from the wind. Would you mind?" "I can do that," Cuchulainn bragged. You see, Cuchulainn had a unique talent as well. He derived all his strength from his third finger. So he went outside and with only his third finger turned the house. "Thank you," Oona said. "You must be hungry. So eat these griddle cakes I've prepared. They are Finn's favorite, but he won't mind." "Griddle cakes!" Cuchulainn cried. "They're my favorite." He grabbed 2 of them and stuffed them into his mouth. "Ah!" he screamed. "I've broken my teeth." "What are these cakes made of?" "They're just my regular recipe. My baby son loves them too." Una said as she handed a griddle cake without iron to the boy in the crib. Who was Finn, disguised as a baby, of course. The baby gobbled up the griddle cake easily. Cuchulainn was stunned. Why, if the baby can eat those cakes, he must be incredibly strong. You can say that again, Una agreed. But the boy is not nearly as strong as his father. With that, Cuchulainn changed his mind. Well, he mused, I will concede defeat and say that Finn Macool must be the strongest giant of all. But may I inspect this extraordinary boy's teeth? You may, Una replied. As Cuchulainn peered into the boy's mouth, Finn saw his chance and bit down hard on Cuchulainn's special third finger. Cuchulainn screamed in pain. That will teach you, Cuchulainn. Now hit the road, Una shouted, and don't ever come back. Cuchulainn raced down the hill, never to be seen or heard from again. Finn took off the baby clothes and hugged his wife in gratitude. She had taught him a lesson. Brains are better than brawn.